And I'll tell you guys since we're all friends. Every character I write has a piece of me in them. Hi, I'm Lee Bardugo. You're listening to the GrishaCast.
Welcome to GrishaCast, episode 117. In this episode, we will be discussing anything and everything queer related to the GrishaVerse. This is your host, Eric.
And I'm Terry. From Nashville, Tennessee, this is your podcast for all things GrishaVerse.
A world created by our very own queer ally herself, Lee Bardugo. Moi sabayani casters.
Hi.
Hey. We got some listener cities.
We do. First, we'd like to say thank you to Leicester, UK.
Woo! Thank you. And then we're moving on to Ghent, Belgium.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, we love you all. So, very special episode.
Yes.
This is exciting. We've moved on and we've finished everything in the GrishaVerse.
Which is a little weird. It feels a little weird.
It is. And it's exciting too, because we're just going to say this up front. If you haven't read everything, then you probably should stop listening right now, because from here on out, there will be spoilers about everything, because we've covered it all. So the only thing we haven't covered is anything that hasn't come out yet, and Ninth House, but that's not GrishaVerse. But we will be covering that later. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. So, so we are excited, but before we get on, how are you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. I'm actually excited that it's Pride Month.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to going to Pride, taking the boys to Pride. I'm excited.
Did they say who's like performing? Who's the big act for Pride this year for ours?
They did.
Okay, so we just don't.
And then you put me on the spot.
I'm sorry.
So I don't know off the top of my head.
That's okay. I haven't seen anything yet. Is it the normal like end of the month? Leslie Jordan.
Yeah, Leslie Jordan is
He's
a
hilarious.
parade person.
That's incredible.
I know. I love Leslie Jordan.
So does my husband. He's so funny. And
So cute.
what was funny is that during COVID, like right when it started, I would always see my husband just kind of giggling, and I never knew what it was. And finally I was like, what are you watching? And he's like, Leslie Jordan just keeps on posting all these fun little COVID videos. And I had no clue what he was talking about. And yeah, then I started watching them. They are. So yeah, well, that's exciting. I love Leslie Jordan. He's so cute.
He is.
Which, by the way, in the new RuPaul, I think that the Tuck did an incredible job with Leslie Jordan.
Yes, she really did.
That was hilarious. Oh my gosh, and her devil.
Right?
That was so smart. I love it.
It was.
I love it on that show when a queen gets really creative and takes something that you could either really totally screw that up or do a great job, because it's, no one knows what that character would ever be like. It's all just like superstition, but I love that.
And I giggled so hard when somebody brought up the Lil Nas X video.
Yes, I know. And I love the gloves that she was wearing with it. These little cute pink gloves.
It was cute.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, this is exciting. We love Pride Month is always really fun. And the GrishaVerse is such an incredibly inclusive book series. And it gets just better and better. And it's just, it's been really cool to see that grow. And I'm excited for us to be able to talk about it. And yeah, because last year we did a different queer character each episode.
Yeah.
And we got clocked for one of them because we accidentally, I guess, spoiled that.
Spoiled something.
But hey, we love the GrishaVerse, so of course we've read everything the minute it gets out. So I mean, we just kind of, sorry.
We got excited to talk about it.
We did. However, for those of you that didn't know that, you do now. And we're way past that because we're in the next year. So yeah, let me see what's going on with me. So I have, just to let y'all know, I also am watching, as we speak, a turtle. Yep, Sam, my turtle, is not inside the studio. She is outside. This turtle I've had since I was in 3rd grade. I named him at the time, Sam. And then, like, years down the road, Sam laid eggs. So then we found out Sam was not a gentleman, but a lovely lady. And it's just been very hard to forget. We always kept on calling him, her. Yeah. So, anyways, point of the story is Sam is now with us. If you've listened to the past episodes, I've talked about it. But Sam is now outside in his outdoor habitat. And I'm just such a crazy mother. I had to make sure that I know Sam's okay. So my lovely husband set up a video camera, and I am watching that camera as we speak to make sure nothing happens to my baby.
Yeah.
There's Sam right there. He's so cute. I want to bring
This
him.
is where we are in life.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching a turtle.
Yeah, he's so cute. I love him. And Lucy gets along with him. He might not get along with Lucy, but I mean, he just walks right by her. But anyways, so that's what's going on with me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, it's just really hot.
Yes, it has gotten hot.
Yeah, but okay. Well, let's get on into this because this is it's a fun episode.
We'll have lots of discussions.
We do.
Yeah.
And I think we definitely need to at least start off with where in the like Shadow and Bone, that trilogy, when that's obviously some of the earliest stuff that Lee wrote. And after she wrote that trilogy, I know that I can't remember how it happened, but a discussion came about asking her like why that trilogy was so there were I think it was actually just that book too. Why it was so like Caucasian, there weren't any LGBT characters and things like that. And this is where I grew to love Lee because she didn't like backtrack or try to say, "Oh, this is the reasoning." And she was like, "You know what? I am so sorry and you're absolutely right." And she thought she came back and she said, "You know, after I thought about it, I realized that how that happened is because when I was first getting started, I wrote what I knew and I wrote what I had read. And that is what fantasy was when like up until that point. So it makes sense. I just thought it was really neat. And she said how she just she was gonna change that. And she did. She did.
Big time.
Yeah. And even in Shadow and Bone, there is like a couple there's a lesbian couple, right?
Towards the end.
Towards the end.
Yes.
Yeah. I think maybe the discussion more was just about the fact that it was just very white.
Yeah.
But it did bring up other things. And I love how it did change and her writing evolved and the characters did too. So, and I think what's really cool about the GrishaVerse is that as you learn about some of these characters, there is no like coming out stories of these characters. There's no issues about them being gay. It's just so we know the GrishaVerse, widely knows that there are gay people and queer people out there, and that's them. There's no problem with it which is really neat.
Yeah, obviously, Fjorda has a bit of an issue with it.
Yeah,
but they have issues with everything.
exactly.
So that doesn't really count too much, I guess. But literally everywhere else, every other little country in the Grisha world, it's just accepted. And we need more of those kinds of stories where it's just okay, where there's no having to explain yourself or really come out to anyone. Like at some point, we need to just stop coming out.
Yeah.
Just doing what you want to do.
And to be honest, like we are in such a great place, I feel right now. In time in our real world, because it's definitely things have evolved and gotten a lot better from where they used to be. Not saying things are perfect at all, but when you and I were growing up, especially where we grew up here in the South, it was a very different world. And it was.
Did you ever think that you'd get married?
No, I did not. I really when marriage equality got passed, I was absolutely stunned because, and here's the thing, the reason if it was up to states voting on that by themselves, it wouldn't have happened here.
No.
So I love that because the only way it would have happened is if it was done the way it was, which is, making it a national It was for the country because Tennessee, I'm sorry, would never have voted for it. And they still, I remember after it happened, we're trying to trying to change it. There is still someone out there that is, and I know he doesn't listen to this podcast, whatever.
Or
But
maybe he does. Hello.
he does not like me. I should probably not say his name. Is that correct, Chris?
Let's not.
Okay. Um, yeah, but he is a
We're a
politician.
drama-free area.
Well, yeah. He knows I am drama when he sees me because I've confronted him. He lives here in my little city, and when he goes all big and mighty and tries to go and like reverse marriage equality, and he gave me I was like, do you like, what's the point of it? You're not gay, and like, why are you so gung ho about this, and why is it a platform for you? And he says it's not anything about gay people. I don't have a problem with gay people. I have friends that are gay, which no, he does not. He said it's about the way it. Yes, exactly, like that. And he said that the reason he's doing it is just because it should be a state thing. The way they made it happen wasn't correct. It was against the law. And I'm like, so you're spending all this time and money on because you think it didn't happen correctly? So you want it to be like, anyways. Ugh. Okay. So yeah, we still do live in the South. We still do have to deal with things like that. However, that is everywhere. It is not just in the South. I think when you get out into every metropolitan area is always known for it is more open in metropolitan areas. They're just more urban areas just have that. But when you go outside of any large city, no matter where you are in the world, it changes. And even in different I can't speak I don't want to speak for other countries and other cities at all. I can only speak from my experience, but that's what I've noticed at least. And so we still have a lot of work to do, but the point of this is we've gotten to a great place. There's novels, there's shows. We are actually all over now on TV and in fantasy novels. Trans characters are even showing up in young adult novels. I mean, we had that incredible, we've just discussed so much about it, but Cemetery Boys, when that came out, and Lee Bardugo recommended that to us when it was an arc, and we even got to have the author on. He was so incredible, and he wrote I just loved it. Aiden was incredible. Aiden Thomas wrote Cemetery Boys, which I think is the very first YA book that is about a trans character, but isn't revolved it's just written so well. Anyways, so yeah, it's everywhere now. What do you think, Terry?
I enjoyed that rant of yours.
I know. Sorry.
No, you're right. When we were younger, it wasn't something that was that we could see. We couldn't see ourselves anywhere, and I think even when we did, it was either vilified or it was out in a negative way. It was never just like, a McDonald's commercial where two women are taking their kids to get a Happy Meal. That wasn't a thing. It was very it was very heterosexual. And so as you're growing up in this, it can be very confusing as to, why is that not a thing that I like to do?
Yeah.
So to have that now where our kids and then their kids are going to be able to see it and not have to question themselves is amazing.
It's beautiful. It really is it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to see. And I just love that so I know we still have a long way to go. However, because we do, trans rights are something that there's so much work that needs to be done there, and it's
especially trans people of color.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they are. It's horrible, and we really just have to keep trying and
We have to keep making safe spaces like this.
Exactly.
Where we can talk about it freely and where you have somewhere to go if you don't feel safe talking about it at home. We're here. So anybody that is able to needs to create that safe space for everyone that doesn't have one.
Yeah, and it actually touches me to think that like this is a safe space, and because we've had letters written to us about it, and that's so that's awesome. I'm so grateful that we can make and help some other kids out there that really need to hear this stuff and just need to know that they are okay and that there's nothing wrong with them, and that even though it might be a scary world out there and walking out the door, they don't know what will ever hit them or if they'll even come back home alive, or like just it's I'm glad to know that we are able to like help that. And that's important for everybody just to keep, as Terry said, like we've got to keep creating these places. These spaces are so important, even if it's just literally just a podcast. I mean, however, yeah. So pride is so important, and that's why we have an episode about it and we talk about it. And I love that it's part of the GrishaVerse just because it is a very important time for our history, queer history, because we've worked really hard to get where we are and we still have so far to go. But, Pride didn't start out just as a big party. I have you ever heard people that I guess are not queer talk about how, well, we should have like a straight
Yeah.
pride. And it's like, no.
That's called every other month, Chad.
Right. Exactly, Becky. So, anyways, it's just yeah, Pride started because yeah, we don't need to get into that.
We
If you
don't
want
need to give you a history
if
lesson.
no, but if you do want to know that history lesson, I can direct you in the great watch the oh my gosh, yeah, sorry. I can't remember Pose. Pose is the show, that's right.
Pose.
Pose. There's only 3 seasons. It's incredible. It will give you the history and what things were like and everything.
And watch Paris is Burning.
Yes,
Of course.
ma'am.
Yes.
Watch Paris is Burning and watch RuPaul's Drag Race because that is today helping, the ball scene. It is based off of the ball, that's what RuPaul's doing. So,
Yep.
anyways, yes. So, well, let's get on to some brighter topics because I think I even said something about you might not even know if you're coming home alive. Like that
Yeah,
definitely went to a pretty dark spot.
We
Sorry
got
about
a
that.
little dark.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we have to with this conversation sometimes, but we can talk about much happier things,
yeah.
like our conversation with Lee Bardugo. If you've not heard that, I highly suggest go back and listen to our interview with Lee Bardugo, where we talked to her about queer characters.
Yes.
And my favorite part about that not my favorite, I will say not my favorite. There were so many times where it was a very personal thing with her and I, and that was my favorite, obviously, clearly.
Yeah.
But one of the great things about the interview was when she had already written Rule of Wolves.
Yes.
So, but we had not seen it. We didn't know anything about it. And we asked her to her face, sort of, will there ever be a trans character? Because we have not had a trans character yet in the series. And she's like, sure. Yeah.
It will happen.
She knew dang well.
She'd already written.
She had already written it. So it's really cool that she's evolved that way. And that discussion came out at a great time. The book came out with a trans character at a great time because of, again, the negative things that were coming out with the author that shall not be named.
Yes.
All this negativity online from another author of a very big series. So to have that discussion at that time was massive.
It was, and that was actually one of my favorite part. It was a really cool part for me in that episode because I was a huge. Okay, so obviously, we're just going to talk about it. So Lee and I both talked about it. We both were huge Harry Potter fans, or had been, and at that time, that author had definitely gotten who has a huge platform, massive platform. And my thing is, if you have a huge platform like that, you need to always be aware of what you're saying and just think about the repercussions. And this, well, you know what? She probably did. She just didn't care. But she had definitely openly spoken bad and about the trans community and trying to make assumptions and saying and putting down things that she said were fact when they weren't. And it was horrifying because Harry Potter was a very safe space for a lot of kids. It'd been written way before the GrishaVerse. So um, Lee and I both were Slytherins. And, if you're a big fan, you were part of that. And that's why we brought up the trans character. And I didn't expect her to be so open and actually talk about it. And she expressed how, she didn't know how to deal with that subject. Because, and it was very hard. And at that time, it was so early, I didn't know either. However, what I think Lee and I both actually ended up going in the same direction is like I'm no longer a Harry Potter fan. I just can't do it. And I'm not. I used to, I used to always wear Slytherin stuff constantly. It was everywhere and it was very emotional for me, but I packed it all up. I can't read any of those books anymore. It's hard for me. It's just because when I try, I start thinking about it, and I am a huge trans ally, massive. Like I am not trans myself. However, I just want to help so much, and yeah. So, anyways, that's why it touched me so much. But yeah, that was I guess Lee helped me with that because that's what Lee did. She was having wrestling with that situation, and it's really cool. Because yeah, we got an amazing character out of it, and she did a really good job. It was a surprise too. I was surprised
Mhm.
by it. So,
And
uh,
to have the author that shall not be named have the platform like Twitter and things like that where she continued to
yep.
pop off. On the flip side, we have an author who in 2020 used Twitter to defend trans rights and her trans characters and how her characters viewed the other trans characters. So we have such a difference, and if you watch just the comments after that was so different, obviously, then
Mhm.
it became such a positive space.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other side where we were before, it was this negative space. So um, when I was researching for this episode, going through YouTube and Twitter and every other platform, there are this fandom has become so massive, and the biggest discussion is the queer characters.
Yeah.
So it has become such a safe space in of itself where everybody can come to the GrishaVerse and find somebody that they see in themselves, and that's just incredible. There's such a wide variety of queerness. I mean, there's also a wide variety of like races and
Exactly.
genders and everything, but this whole like umbrella of queer has become massive.
And it's incredible because Lee, she's just so smart. I love her writing. I love everything about it, but she is a person. We both can vouch how friendly and sweet and kind, and she's just she in high school. We know that when she was in high school, she was just like us, one of those like, dark kids that,
Awkward queer kid.
exactly. So it's amazing that to see somebody that had that experience open up a place for everybody else. And in literature, that is so important because I love reading and to be able to read now and find ourselves in them.
Mhm.
And it's opened up so much, and it's happened so fast if you really think
Yes,
about it.
it really has.
Because the only queer books that I can think of, I remember when I was a freshman in high school, I read a Poppy Z. Bright book, which was very dark. It was about vampires. It wasn't like on Anne Rice level, Interview with the Vampire, like. However, it was based around like some like gay vampires, and but it never took off. It never got big. However, Interview with the Vampire,
It
that
wasn't queer, but it was queer like all at the same
that's
time.
what I was about to ask. Like,
There's there's so many things on TikTok, especially the guy that talks about his fundamentalist church, where he says because he at that point was struggling with how he was feeling. He didn't know he was gay, but he knew that something was wrong. He sat in the theater and watched Interview with the Vampire like 20 times because it just like spoke to him. And he's
oh,
like, it's so gay.
it is.
And it's not really, but it is.
It's yeah,
And it's like, it was the most gay thing we had at the time.
but it wasn't
And I
gay.
was so obsessed with it. But no, like, it wasn't inherent. It wasn't meant to be
Right.
gay, but it was.
I think, thinking about all this, like, I remember, did you ever watch the movie, But I'm a Cheerleader?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that was for me at least, I think it was one of the earlier movies that had queer and gay characters. RuPaul was in it, and Natasha Lyonne was in it. She brought it up, like, I mean, on the Snatch Game, that's what she brought up,
Okay.
talking to RuPaul.
That's where I heard the title before.
Yep.
Like, I know, I've just not seen it.
But I'm a Cheerleader is incredible. I'm sure it's got to be out there somewhere. It's a really fun, interesting show. It's about, like, I mean, the gender roles and how, like, I mean, there was a camp that you could be sent to, and all the girls wore pink, all the boys wore blue, and they're all gay kids. And it's a really
So, like a reform thing?
it's a comedy, but it's supposed to it's very interesting, and it was in the 90s, and it was really cool. And RuPaul for the first time is like back then was on TV just himself.
Oh,
He was a
okay.
counselor. Anyways.
All right.
Yeah. So okay.
So we are going to go through and talk about the characters. Now we have a little list that we're going to go through and have a discussion. And this is what I've been waiting for. So we do have a list of like confirmed that like we know their relationships.
Right.
And then we have a fun surprise or a fun discussion about some of the rumors. And I know some of you hardcore fans, I'm sure you've heard some of these rumors. But it's going to be fun to go through those.
Because I have no clue about those because I'm not a big social media person. So I don't like really like catch up on all
There
those.
is a massive black hole like you can go down if you go to research it.
Yeah.
There are so many theories out there. There are people that claim that you can put every single character in the queer space. And I listened and read so many of people attempt to do it, and it works. I mean, they can do it. They're not all in my list, but
interesting.
But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun little hole to go down.
Well, I'm excited for I'm just gonna give you a heads up. I bet you're gonna have to, my memory. You might need to help me with some of these.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna forget some.
That's fine.
Especially
We'll
the
get
earlier.
there.
Okay, yeah.
So first we have our bi king.
Yeah, Jesper. And I think that is our first male character that is queer in the show that comes out. Is that?
I think so.
Not only in the show, but in the books. It is our first. Yeah, and it doesn't happen till quite like towards the end of Shadow and Bone. It really takes some time to get there, right?
Six of Crows.
Six of Crows. Yes, not Shadow and Bone. Yeah, Six of Crows.
Yeah, it's it takes a while to get there.
So we've got.
But he's fabulous anyway. He's got a great sense of style.
He does, and the show helped bring that to life. But the books already brought it was just incredible.
His fabulous suits.
Yes, and they're written that way. And we can't bring up just Jesper when we're talking about Jesper because we have to bring up another character at the same time. We have to bring up Wylan.
Yeah,
because I can't wait.
A lot of it is the discussion between the two of where we find out both of them are. Like Wylan asks Jesper about girls, and he says yes.
Right.
And then he's like, only girls?
That's right.
Yeah.
Wylan's the one that asked that.
Yeah, Wylan was prodding it along.
So Wylan had a little bit of a crush.
Oh, absolutely.
And Wylan's so cute.
Yeah. So, and going through everything, when we come across their story of how Wylan joined the group, I think Jesper actually had the crush first.
Oh.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, because Jesper sought him out.
You're right. He did. He kept going. He
kept visiting him at the dye place.
And they do a good job in the show there's that line.
At the very end.
Yeah, well, and even in the beginning,
Oh,
he asks about
we
trying
need
to
a
get
bomb guy.
yeah, we
Yeah.
need a bomb guy, a demolitions man, and
Ballistics or something. Yeah.
Kaz says, "No, no, 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 it's the last thing we need. We're
Yeah.
trying to go in and be quiet. We don't need
Yeah.
bombs." But yeah, you're right. Jesper was trying,
He
and
had an ulterior motive.
yeah, so it's really neat and amazing to see that character come, like, not have to come out. Just nobody,
Oh
like,
yeah.
when we find out, like, I mean, Kaz does, like, there's no freaking out, especially when they get together. Finally, they
Yeah. Oh
kiss,
my gosh. Yeah. Finally.
and
But when that happens, it's not like it is. It's a big deal, but it's not a big deal if that makes sense. But that was the first. No, it's not really. It's not the
not the
first
first.
gay interaction, but like, it was a big. It was fun, and I like them together. They're cute together.
Exactly. I think there was more written about it because I think what you're referring to is in Shadow and Bone
Mhm.
trilogy. We've got
Tamar.
Tamar,
Mm-hmm.
and is it Tamar's with some
Nadia.
Nadia? So, but in that trilogy, it was written very like lightly. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't embellished about what their
Which
relationship.
is fine because Tamar and Nadia are not at that point. They are not big characters.
Correct.
So to just like touch lightly on it was appropriate
Yeah.
because it doesn't make it a huge deal. It's just like this is a thing.
Yes.
So so now that we're talking about it, Tamar obviously lesbian.
Yeah.
Nadia not 100% sure. Clearly she's into women. Lesbian, bi, pan. We don't know her history. But
And we have Nadia on the show already.
yeah, so
very-
that's the difference.
Yeah.
Is in the show very early on, they have Nadia.
Helping. She's just one of Alina's friends at the.
Yes,
like helping get her around.
but she makes a statement about Zoya being on her or something like that. So, so she's making very lesbian comments in the show very early on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Nadia is like I'm excited that we also have now the second season. We know we get to finally they casted Tamar, so that's going to be exciting.
Mhm.
We get to finally and I don't know her name, but she looks just like a Tamar.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So okay, well that. So once we got past there, we've got light little touches, which makes sense in Shadow and Bone, but then we've got Wylan and I love their relationship. I want to see more of it. Wylan and Kuwei, not Kuwei. Sorry, Kuwei was the one that came in.
yeah.
and-
Kuwei's the one that they had to rescue.
yeah, but he also was trying to pretend just like he was gonna get on Jesper.
He was acting like he was Wylan as Kuwei.
Yes, and when you read that, didn't you get excited though? When you didn't know, when you thought,
No, I knew something was up. We discussed this. Like, I knew something was up because he wasn't talking and like everything was weird. So I knew something. I figured that that's what he was doing.
okay,
But so yes, he's on my list.
yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I gotta stop looking at it because I'm
No,
skipping
it's
all
fine.
around your
No,
list.
that's what we're just doing. But I say that he's gay, just based
Yeah.
off of some of the things that he said, and like he put himself in a position to get kissed by Jesper, and at least by,
Yeah, at
but
least
like definitely in the queer space.
it's interesting. Like I mean, like he's just he I guess he saw that he wanted some of Jesper, and he knew that Jesper obviously
He
wanted
took
some.
advantage of the situation.
He did because he looked exactly like Wylan at the time, and then
And so while we're in like Six of Crows and everything, of course, like literally everyone in Six of Crows is freaking queer. Nina, she before we'll get to Rule of Wolves, but before
Yeah.
Rule of Wolves came out, she was like the bi queen. Like she was the the flag bearer
she
for
was.
like all the bi women in the world are like finally yes. Matthias makes jokes that or was it Kaz? Kaz makes jokes that she would flirt with a houseplant.
She's just an incredible character. She's so comfortable with herself.
Yeah.
And that's just fun to read. But so helpful for people out there just to, I wish I could have the confidence that Nina has.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she's a great character, and to just have like a woman that's just like, I'll flirt with you and I'll flirt with you, and I so this kind of brings it up as
mhm.
we get to Rule of Wolves. We have another character that comes into it that's attached to Nina, and that is Hana.
Yeah.
Um, so Hana's journey changes Nina's queer title, I believe.
Yeah.
So Hana, she is a tailor,
Yeah.
and she is not happy with herself.
She makes a lot of comments about
Yes,
wanting to be in a different body.
I mean, when we meet her, she's dressed as a man.
Yep.
She's acting like a man. When she got to like shave all her hair off, she was very excited. She could finally start seeing herself, she said. So we are putting her in the trans space.
Oh,
Whether
absolutely.
she's
Yeah.
trans, fluid, I don't know because I'm
We,
not her, but she's definitely not cisgendered.
yeah. She is trans for sure. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
could, and that was like, that was the bit, that was an end, that was at the end of Rule of Wolves, and it was incredible to see that.
Yes, it really is. So as Nina and their relationship goes on, that changes. I would say, and there's going to be a big argument where like bi and pan kind of like converge. So we'll put Nina in like the bi pan like umbrella.
Will you help me for a second? Can you please, like, I mean, I just feel, remind me, pansexual is what?
The wine, not the label. That means like pan is every gender representation.
Oh, okay. So it's just, okay. So it just expand. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So and bi can be that too.
Yeah. Right?
So
That's
so there it
confusing.
is it can be very confusing. So like technically a lot of people
Okay.
like so
I get it.
especially so especially for people from like our generation
Hmm.
that only had that bi word, some of us are very comfortable under that
Umbrella.
under that bi safe space
Yeah.
because we didn't have pan really. And then we also there were trans people, but being publicly trans is much more prolific now than it used to be.
Absolutely.
So bi pan, it really is an individual.
I get it now. And pan is, because yeah, I realize now that actually, my first boyfriend was pan because he always said that he falls in love with people.
Yeah.
Literally like, I mean, it has not like, I mean, he couldn't help who he fell in love with.
Yeah.
Like whatever. And it was just like, so, and that, okay, that's pretty. I see how that can be very confusing though for the bi community, especially with it coming.
I think it's more confusing for people outside of like bi pan.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a Venn diagram for different people.
Yes. Because I mean, they're starting to put, a spectrum together right now for queers. Like, I mean, isn't that right? Like, I mean, the way it's like, I feel like people are starting to put that on like some kind of weird spectrum. But here's the thing: do what you want to do. Who cares?
Call yourself whatever you want to call
Exactly.
yourself. Who cares?
And
Labels.
if you want a label, great, enjoy it. If you don't need it.
No.
There's no need for it. Okay.
So one of the weird things, I don't know weird, but like the shocking thing for me was like Ivan and Fedor in the book. I would not have put them in a ship. I wouldn't have like.
I don't think they were, to be honest.
And then
in the
you get to
book.
the show.
Oh my God, you can't keep them off each other.
And they're like on each other. They're feeding each other. There's even
It's so cute.
There's even a comment. I don't remember the exact comment, but when Fedor has to go rescue Jinya and Alina from the circus that's going on in front of the palace, there's something he says there about his better half. That was such a shocker, but it was so fun because they are such a fun duo anyway.
They are.
And Ivan is so like hardcore, scary.
He's so cute. And then he's got Fedor, who's just like so cute
and friendly and
yeah,
personable and
exactly.
yeah, so to put
And
them together is
it's smart, it's cute,
it is.
and I think and it goes along with what's written though too. Like I mean, you can
If
see it didn't need a label,
right.
but
If
there's
you go back and read Shadow and Bone now, you could
you could put them
put
together.
them together. So
Yeah, there's nothing in there totally changing, like making that like a no. I mean, there's nothing in there saying that it couldn't happen.
yeah,
It's kind of neat.
it's
And
cute.
they are really cute. And that show, oh,
I love that just moment where the camera is panning by and their feet.
yes,
It's so cute.
feeding the grapes. And then there's a lot of great like like I mean, just like behind the scenes pictures
Yes.
and videos that they've got of them too. And they're just so cute.
They are
Has
cute.
do we know whether like I mean like are they? Because some of the stuff like off camera, like I mean that wasn't part of the show was really cute. Were those just outtakes or the like? I feel like some of them like looked like they were just like
I think they were messing around. They were
Okay.
like in character or
Okay.
being like playing. Yeah.
They're so cute.
Are you trying to ship the
I
actors
am.
together?
I totally am. I want that now. So
I mean, don't we all?
yeah.
So you wanted to talk about Poppy.
Well,
she is fabulous.
She is, and she is not in our novels. I don't know whether she's actually like. I mean, I feel bad that I don't know what her pronoun. I don't know their pronoun. However, Poppy is just a character from the show, and very early on too.
Yes.
And it's in the whole Ketterdam story. And Poppy is, from what it looks like, a drag performer. And I'm just assuming that because of the hints that we get from the show. Poppy's in a club, looks like the backstage, a dressing room, and Poppy looks like they're getting ready to go on stage or go perform. Poppy is fabulous.
Oh yes.
Poppy is just this amazing character and fun, and she's black, so she's got and I think she's a drag performer. However, like I mean, she could possibly like
I would put them in a queer space.
they're definitely in the queer space. However, like don't know whether it's just a drag performer or whether she also is trans because she could be. But Poppy is a fabulous character.
Yes.
Love Poppy, and
That was a fun addition.
It was. It was it was a surprise because and when I mean surprise, it's neat to watch the show as someone that's read everything because any new character that gets thrown in there, we all know, and it's always great to have like not just a surprise straight character, but like a surprise another queer character, like, and it was neat. So I love Poppy. I hope there's more of Poppy.
That would be fun
because what a fun character, and it makes me want to go to a drag show in Ketterdam because that would be so much fun.
Oh yeah, with all the money that everybody has, that would be a fabulous show.
It just, yes, of course. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh, and get some Grisha involved. Could you imagine the stage, like
the tailoring?
The show you could put on. It could be incredible.
Seriously, with like the material and the tailors, and oh yeah.
Girl, I get some Inferni up in there doing some fire trick. Yes, we would have it all.
Some pyrotechnics.
Girl, that stage would be on fire and burnt down by the time I was like collecting my dollars.
So another new person in the show is Dima.
Yeah.
Who is okay, so
I was like, wait a minute.
So like this really confused me. We have a Dima who is an 8-year-old boy who almost gets eaten by Nikolai
in King of Scars.
King of Scars. This is not the same Dima. So like I literally sat there for like 20 minutes trying to connect the two, and you can't because Dima from the show is the little stable hand boy that Jesper takes into the stables and loves on him.
Okay.
So he's definitely gay, bi,
Yeah.
The episode is Show Me Who You Are. He's not in there very long, but it's an important part.
Yeah.
But his name is also Dima. I don't know if
Okay.
they just borrowed the name. But I sat there forever and I was like trying to connect the timelines. I'm like, wait a minute. So this kid, but no.
No.
Dima from the show shows up way before Nikolai even like comes into the picture really. So
Yeah.
it doesn't match up. It's just the name that's the same. But yeah, I
Interesting.
sat there forever like, wait a minute. I'm going to make a thing. No.
Well,
No. So that was another fun addition.
that
Will
is.
we ever hear from Dima again? I
Probably
don't know.
not. I really doubt it.
Jesper hit it and quit it.
I mean, that was what that was. I do love that was like such a like it was the first time in the show that we saw Jesper like that.
He got flirty and fun.
Yeah, it was really cute. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was really cute because he sees him and like I can't remember the words, but he's just like he's obviously like, oh, I gotta go. Excuse me, I see something over there. I think I want to do.
Yeah.
And like just
It was cute.
it is. I've got to rewatch the show. I haven't watched it in a while. I need to watch that again
Yeah,
just to remember.
of course.
So.
So now we have a fun little, we're going to talk about some rumors.
Okay, rumors.
So I'm going to try to hide everything as I go so you don't see.
I can't see your screen. I'm not gonna look at it.
Okay. So the first rumor well, these are not in order of where I came across, but just order of like, I don't know, kind of fun. So Alina.
Okay, is she rumored as what?
So the rumor is that she could be bi or pan because they think that she was a little too obsessed with Jinya, that there are some really flirty moments with Jinya and that it could possibly be that. So, I mean, I'm not going to like say no because it's always a possibility. We don't know.
Well, right.
But it was a fun little, that was just one little fun thing.
Interesting.
The next little fun one is Mal.
What?
And I know because, you know, like Mal is such the stereotypical like bro.
Yes, he is definitely.
Like whenever I played Mal, I'd always be like, what's up, bro? But the argument was that he was a little too excited to wrestle with Sturmund.
Oh,
Because
okay.
that was before Alina and Mal really started like doing whatever they were doing. And the argument was that he was a little too excited about this wrestling.
Interesting.
I thought it was cute, but
You know, out there they do have. I just know that I had someone that was one of my friends that I know had videotapes of wrestling. It's just wrestling. It wasn't pornography at all, but it was just men not wearing any clothes wrestling.
well, there you go. Maybe
Just
Mal,
letting you know that's out there.
maybe Mal is into that. And I'm not judging.
Well, I mean, come on. A locker room is just like a whole setup for,
yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
God, which is also a horrifying experience for any of us gay and queer boys that are just in there just trying to real quickly change and get out of there. Oh my gosh. Just saying. Guys. Oh, okay. Anyways, moving on. Yes.
Queen Maki. The theory is that
Okay.
she's a lesbian.
Why? How? I mean,
Because in their culture, they don't ever like get with
oh,
men other than like the purposes of having a child.
yep. I guess-
And they can be with whoever they want to be, but they say like she gives off serious butch lesbian vibes, and I am so here for that. Like to now imagine her as like this butch queen is amazing.
Yeah. That is really because she is very strong.
Yes.
But I don't think I'd use the word butch.
That's
for her.
what that's the word that kept coming up was that she was like
Because I envision her just be like, very strong and very like, just she's a queen. She gets what she wants. And she's gorgeous, dripping in jewels always, and she's definitely a top.
100%.
But hey, if we want to go for butch, that's fine. I just don't. I see her as I can see that. I definitely can. And do we have a lot of We are I feel like we're just kind of starting to understand Shuhan more just from the
Uh-huh.
later novels more recently. Um, okay, I see that.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
liked that one.
I do too.
Yeah.
That is a fun one.
Mhm.
However, I do want to know and I love the fact that they just kind of use men just for their sperm.
Oh, right?
Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's incredible.
It
It's just
is.
because it's the complete opposite of just how some
Mhm.
men think they're just so amazing and blah blah blah. It's like no, not in Shuhan. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
We're just gonna if we didn't even have to do this, I wouldn't. But
Yeah.
I have to, just because we need some children. So
I don't want to do this, but
yeah.
okay. There's a bug.
Oh, I was like, are you?
I'm making a point.
That-
Okay.
yeah.
So another fun one to talk about
Okay.
is the Darkling.
Hmm.
So the argument is that he has been on this aromantic journey. So there are discussions, obviously, we just read Demon in the Wood, where he obviously had kind of these feelings towards a girl, but
Right.
after all the time he goes through, he's aromantic. Like he can't feel romantic feelings
Right.
towards anyone. So I actually I made a word for him.
Okay.
I call it power sexual.
Okay, girl. What is a power sexual? Okay.
Like he is he's only attracted sexually to somebody who helps him in his
Gain.
power.
Well, I see that. If power
So
were an actual person, he would be all up in it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what he is in power is addictive.
So I can totally see him on the aromantic journey, especially with as long as he's lived.
Yeah.
I can't see that he would ever really fully be able to be romantic with someone.
It's more about you. He will do whatever he needs to get what he wants. And I could
Yeah.
totally see him, if he needed to sleep with a king to be able to get somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. He would
Oh yeah.
not have an issue at all. He would do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. There is no romance to him.
No.
It's all about it's not the game, but it's all for show. It's whatever he needs to do to conquer what he needs. I don't
Yep.
think he probably ever would get off.
No.
Just saying.
Yeah.
He probably would never have that. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah. I liked that one.
I do.
So back to a controversial one,
Oh.
Nikolai. The theory is that Dominic was not just his friend.
Oh.
Remember his childhood friend,
Yeah.
Dominic?
You know what? I can actually see that.
Yeah.
Because that was
He stood up for him so much.
a lot.
Mhm.
And that's right at that, because he was a teenager. So that's right
Mhm.
when your hormones are kind of raging.
Yeah.
I can see that. And Nikolai, oh my God, he would be so
Right.
much fun.
Right?
Could you?
I could totally see Nikolai as a
Oh,
bi-pan
yes.
king.
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
he's fabulous.
He is pan. He is absolutely pan. He
Yeah,
just
I could
would.
totally see that.
He would be the most fun. Okay, I'm naming it. He would be the most fun to sleep with, be in a relationship with, whatever, in the GrishaVerse.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. Hands down. Nobody
Can
else.
you, him and Nina, I think.
Oh my
were,
God, don't let them.
I know. They need to stay away from each other.
Yes, because that would be.
That would be chaos.
It would be.
They could take over the whole damn world.
They could, and oh my gosh.
And they would have so much fun at parties.
Constantly. I don't see them ever probably putting clothes on once they met each other.
But I could see them at some big diplomatic party, picking out who was the hottest and having this whole game of who could get somebody first. But then it was all hands or there's no rules. You could totally throw the other person under the bus. I just went down this whole thing and you're staring at me weird.
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm into it. I'm listening.
I created this whole narrative in my head.
I like it.
But yeah, just I could see them, having this whole swinger thing.
Oh, totally.
So
Okay.
keep them away from each other, please.
I love that. And I really love Nikolai as being, yes,
I know. Like it made sense once I started reading all
When
the
yeah,
yeah.
once you get it in your head, it's just like
Mhm.
I now want that. I mean, like Nikolai is definitely pansexual.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so Bagra as a lesbian
is that just why? I mean, what is the rumor on why?
because she was never they don't ever have her as with anybody
So that automatically just makes
and
her
just her attitude.
being firm and being kind of like a B.
Yes.
Uh, I
It
don't.
was yeah, that I mean
That one's kind of hard for me.
that one's definitely like a stretch.
Yeah, because I mean, like,
There's nothing to support it fully, really. I mean, it was more about just the fact that like they never talk about her relationships and
well, yeah,
I mean,
but she's, yeah, her life has been like that. We know that she obviously had to at some point. She slept with a merman. We know that. We got
honey, we all
Ula.
make mistakes.
was was Ula a mistake? Aw,
We all
poor Ula.
we all make mistakes.
God, you know what I realized?
She doesn't have to be a gold star lesbian.
No, she doesn't. Doesn't. However, I noticed this from like that picture that we posted, the very end picture of
Yeah.
Ula. She's wearing a necklace that's actually a severed moon.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
Like if you zoom in, it's very neat, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Because that's where severed moon actually is written one time in that story. But she's wearing a necklace that has a severed moon on it. We should, girl, we gotta make that too. I want a severed moon necklace.
Well, there
Okay,
you go. Okay.
next rumor.
David. Demi-romantic, demisexual.
Okay,
So he didn't make a move on Jenya, even though Jenya is like the most beautiful person in the whole palace. He doesn't make a move at all until she gets to a point to where she's like more known for her skills and things like that. So he didn't feel some type of way about her really until. But I think
I'm not seeing that
I'm
one.
not 100% certain on this one because I think David is on the autism spectrum.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people on that spectrum would be demi-romantic and demisexual anyway because they need that understanding to feel some sort of attraction.
he
So
he loves Jenya too.
that doesn't mean that
I
he
know.
doesn't love her.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I guess I just see him. I don't know. I do see what you're saying. His sexuality just isn't really brought up. I don't think about him and think anything about like, yeah. I just think about him and Jenya. Oh, which is cute. I know. I guess I'm just trying not to label them. Sorry.
Do you know what demi-romantic and demisexual?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a. Okay, no. I thought
That is where you have to. That's where you're attracted to someone's intelligence, and like you have to have like this intelligent.
Oh,
Like
I'm sorry. No, I had no clue. Lord, I hope. Yeah, I for some reason went on this really weird tangent of thinking somehow. No, I'm not even gonna go down that.
Yeah,
You
no.
don't want to know. Okay. Okay, so it's attracted to intelligence, kind of like what we were just talking about, how possibly the Darkling is, except attracted to power. This is attracted to
like
intelligence.
it's like you're not attracted to somebody until you really know them. Like you could look at somebody and like they could be the most beautiful thing ever, and you're like, no, thank you. But then like you really get to know them, and they're super smart, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Okay,
I'm now in love with them, or I really want to like do things to them. That's
I see that. Absolutely. Okay, yes.
we just have a few more. Tolia, asexual.
Yeah.
Nikolai questions him about why he is not with somebody, and his response is, I have all that I need. So I think that this is Lee Bardugo's like asexual character
I see that.
representation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I agree.
Mhm.
That one makes sense.
Yep. Okay, Kaz. They put him with the demi-romantic, demisexual as well.
Okay.
Which I can see, but I personally think that he just has a lot of damage.
Yeah, and he does. So I agree with you. I think he also like he's just he's very very damaged and
He's
that's
very closed off because of all the damage he's gone through.
hmm
So I don't feel comfortable like really labeling him like that because I feel like it probably just
right.
comes from his history.
Yeah. Although we all know we ship him and Edge.
Oh yeah.
Not yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean just
So my favorite rumor I have left
oh
to the end
the
because this is
crescendo.
going to have a bit of a discussion. Jinya. The theory is that Jinya is trans
What?
because there are quotes in the book about how she's been working on herself since she was 3 years old.
Hmm.
And then there's this whole thing about like that's how tailors find out that they're tailors is that they start working on themselves as trans people. So
Interesting.
I thought that was a really, really interesting theory, and I can 100% see it. Like whether
Yeah.
Lee meant it or not is I
Well, right.
don't think that she did because that would have come up when we had a trans discussion with her.
Right.
But I could see that. Like if, on the outside looking in, I can see that would
Yeah.
be, one of the theories is that and maybe Lee doesn't even know that Jenny is trans.
Do we not hear like I'm trying to think, like I guess do we hear anything about Jenya's childhood? Does she ever remark anything about her growing up and it's just her okay. I'm just trying to think about it. I see what you're saying. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It totally could be possible. Um Jenya also is damaged too. We have to remember because I mean she had the Darkling like sold her out to the
Oh yeah,
king.
she's being
She's
used.
got yeah. But I see that. It's very interesting, but I think you're right. Lee, I don't think wrote it with that
No,
purpose.
she did not write it with that intent.
No. However, it totally is possible.
It is plausible.
It is plausible.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that word. Plausible.
Plausible.
Okay.
So, and then I was just gonna like briefly speak on like the Matthias thing that I found it was a really fun discussion was that we talked about how Fjerda just doesn't accept
Anything.
queerness. And there is a discussion about Matthias himself being like he was a sexual, aromantic until he met Nina.
Oh, yeah.
So I could totally see that. I could see that he was like totally ace until then. But there's a discussion about his character about when he goes to Ketterdam and there's all this gayness and it doesn't faze him. So like was that a written flaw like in the character because we never hear him question like this is wrong. He questions
Right.
everything else. The Grisha's wrong.
Yeah.
Everything is wrong and he's so hard fast about it. But then he gets around all this gayness and he's fine with it. So I think that was just an oversight in like the character writing that just like wasn't. But like that's one of the discussions that was
Okay.
on there is that like if it was true to character, he would have said something. He would have been like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I think you're right. Huh. I think it's very interesting. Because I love his character. I love him. I think maybe he never does bring up. He doesn't have a problem with any of that.
No.
So yeah, maybe he's got family history that maybe he's got a gay uncle.
We all have a gunkle.
We do. Yeah, right.
And that concludes my rumor mill.
Well, that was fun. I love that rumor mill. So bring it back next time, girl. That was fun. I got to, and some of them I really like.
Yes, I did like a lot of them, but most of them were like thought provoking. So that was
Well, and that's what our show is.
yes.
Yeah. So
So if you want to say whether you agree or disagree,
yes,
we would love to have that discussion.
Exactly. Please tell us, email us, put anything on social media. We know most of you probably won't, but that's okay. If you want
Do it
to,
anyway.
exactly. Yeah, that was fun, and I think that was really we wrapped it all up. We got the whole GrishaVerse.
We did.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, next week, what we have for you, we have an interview coming up. Ooh, who do we have? It's very exciting.
We have the author of Our Crooked Hearts.
Yes. So, and that was an arc that came to us.
It's so good, by the way.
It is, and it was neat. We got that a while ago too.
Yeah,
And
we've had it in our possession for a while.
exactly. And unfortunately, I'm not familiar with any of what else they've written.
This wasn't their first novel, Melissa Albert.
Right. Okay. And she's written some stuff that it's popular. I just haven't read any of it. But
No.
for those of you out there, yes, we have Melissa Albert coming on the show. We are very excited. We'll be asking all about not everything because it's an arc. It's not out yet. But if you have any questions towards Melissa Albert, please send them our way. We would love to get them and ask her. And yeah, I think
And before that, we'll
Yeah.
have a overall discussion about the GrishaVerse in general now that we have completed it.
Yeah, we'll have an end little discussion
Yes.
and see what. Yeah. However, just buckle up, kids, because this is where it gets exciting. We're gonna have so many discussions about just now since we've read it all. It's, as I said, it is spoiler time.
Fair game.
Yes, it is. So we will be discussing anything and everything, and yeah, which is awesome, which is fantastic. However, we will, we'll make sure that we have a little concluding discussion, kind of get Terry's thoughts on what she thought, and she just read it with us, and it'll be fun. So, okay, well, we love you all. We hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and yeah, we'll see you all next time. Happy Pride
Yay!
Month. We love you, and long live the queer GrishaVerse.
Like, we're at the end of the hour, so my voice is a little husky. It was.
No mourners.
No funerals.
This has been GrishaCast. Connect with us on the web at GrishaCast.com. Send an email to info@GrishaCast.com.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at GrishaCast.
And thank you to our amazing staff, Chris, Alex, Michelle, Sid, and Chloe.